You know, I think it's safe to say that summer can be a bit of a drag for some anime fans. Growing up in hot and muggy Florida, I never wanted to leave my air-conditioned powered house, even when there was a convention going on. Still, constantly staying indoors isn't too ideal. I mean, you could binge watch some anime, but what else can you do? Well, why not check out the awesome sponsors of this video, Amino App. If you haven't heard of the Amino App, it's one of the biggest anime communities around. There's amazing art, theories, fan writings, conversations, and so much more. Well, for this summer, Anime Amino has launched an event called Camp Anime, which is designed to give you something to do and see all throughout July. Think of it as summer camp for anime fans. Each week we'll have a new set of challenges ranging from art challenges to quizzes to writing and even to personal stories. Starting on July 20th to the 26th, you can participate in the fan art contest, cosplay contest, and tag yourself in some hilarious anime tropes. It's not too late to get started, so to join Camp Anime, download Anime Amino by clicking the link in the description or with the pinned comment. Which Attack on Titan crossover would I like to see more? Well, obviously I have to choose Yuri on Ice.
And now the difference between real-life teachers and anime teachers. Real life.
It has been such an honor teaching you all, and I am just so proud of every single one of you. May you all have an awesome summer vacation. And to those of you who are in English honors next year, you got at least 5 book reports to do before the school starts. You're not gonna have a summer vacation at all, kids. Life sucks, doesn't it?
Anime.
Dr. Stein, I don't think we can dissect that. It's really rare, nearly extinct, you know?
All the more reason to dissect one before the entire species dies off.
Real life.
Alright guys, we're gonna sing a verse so you memorize all of these Latin phrases. Here we go. Aramarasarat, 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 Aramarasarat.
Anime.
You dropped something, Your Highness.
Give that back!
Step. Whoa.
Real life.
Guys, just read chapters 5 and 6 and answer the questions at the end of each chapter while I go to my desk and, I don't know, read a newspaper, take a nap.
I'm not even kidding, my actual Earth-based science teacher was just like this back in high school.
Anime.
Observe, if you will, Karma, my boy, the versatility of these tentacles and the firepower of this missile yoinked from the Self-Defense Force.
Moral of the story, anime teachers are out of this world.
So let's count down the best and most memorable ones with Anime America's top 10 best teachers in anime.
Let's go!
Number 10. Minamo Kurosawa, also known as Nyamo, from Azumanga Daioh. Nyamo is the most popular teacher at her school, and for very good reasons. She shows her support for all of her students, treats them to juices whether they win the sports festival or not, and will help out any student in need, whether they're in her class or not. Not to mention, she has to set a good example for everyone, while her best friend Yukari tends to disrupt both of their classes with her selfish behavior. And with the other teacher, Mr. Kimura...
Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, dear Kimuri!
Kimuri.
Happy birthday to me!
Mr. Kimura, everybody. Everyone in the school tends to trust her the most, especially when it comes to driving. There was even a moment where Yukari was planning on getting drunk while watching the girls at Chio's summer house, and she had to stop her while not wasting perfectly good sake. So she decides to drink it all by herself while at the same time teaching sex ed to the girls. She doesn't remember doing it, but even at her lowest, she's able to teach valuable life lessons. Sure, that's not the best example, but she's a great teacher nonetheless.
Number 9. Alright, we're gonna get a bit serious with this one. A few factors teachers have to deal with are children facing high expectations and bullying. One of the best examples of an anime teacher having to treat a student experiencing both is Takashi Hayashida from March Comes In Like a Lion. Being a huge fan of shogi, Hayashida knew Rei extremely well, but hearing of his past circumstances with bullying and even losing his family in a traffic accident, he knew he had to be a positive influence on this socially reclusive student. With his gentle manner, he thinks of ways to help Rei socialize with others. Being constantly concerned for his well-being, Hayashida takes it upon himself to be there for Rei and to help him move forward from his dark past. Teachers already have a lot on their plate to begin with, and I can't even ask more teachers to be more like Hayashida, but one can really hope that students suffering like Rei can have a teacher just like Hayashida by their side for the support they desperately need.
Number 8. Tetsuo Takahashi from Interview with Monster Girls. The world of this series has humans interacting with demi-humans. Takahashi has an innate interest in demi-humans and wants to learn a lot about them. One by one, he meets a vampire, a Dullahan, a snow woman, and a succubus, and tries to interview each of them so he can learn about them. At the same time, he acknowledges the struggles these students and teachers face while trying to intermingle with regular humans. So he does what he can to help them while lending an ear. He's very open to his new surroundings, extremely patient when random events occur suddenly, and tries to be more considerate and mindful to the needs of these demi-humans just trying to fit in. Even when one of the other teachers is a succubus who has an essence that can cause men to fawn over her, he'll do his best to act professionally to make sure she feels comfortable and welcomed. Everyone knows it's not easy fitting in, so it's great to have an open and accommodating teacher like Takahashi to help those in need.
Number 7. Izumi Curtis from Fullmetal Alchemist. A self-taught alchemist and martial artist, Izumi had no interest in teaching anyone. She just wanted to keep mastering her craft and live a good life with her husband Sig. That is until they found themselves stuck in Risenbul, where they met 2 persistent little boys begging for her training. Taking pity on 2 orphan boys, she takes it upon herself to train them her way, by leaving them on an island for a month in order to survive without alchemy. Life is pain, kids. Get used to it. They met her challenge with flying colors, so she keeps her promise by teaching them alchemy. While they did disobey her biggest order and even join the military, which is a huge no-no to her, she still helps the boys whenever they're in need. Even with their past getting darker and more personal, Izumi along with Sig are there for their students while teaching them everything that they know. What I love about her is her persistence to learn more. She's not some know-it-all prodigy, but is self-taught, so she dedicates her life to keep learning while setting a good example for the Elric brothers. She never saw herself as a teacher, but she's still a great one to Ed and Al.
Number 6. Negi Springfield from Negima. Probably the youngest teacher in anime at the age of 10. Negi has to balance his life as a teacher to a class of 31 girls while being a mage in training. The girls can be a huge hassle to his mentality and will at times. Regardless, Negi does his best to teach these girls while preparing for an impending darkness looming closer toward them. Typical stories like this would have the main character try to take on the darkness while not getting anyone else involved. But Negi actually allows his students to help him, thus creating a trusting bond between himself and his students. His students can be unpredictable and extremely emotional, but Negi will stick to his training while being the best teacher he possibly can be. And seriously, ladies, he's 10! Was this series written by the Shota Cat?
Number 5. Shota Aizawa, also known as Eraserhead, and Toshinori Yagi, also known as All Might, from My Hero Academia. While Aizawa is the main teacher, he is very strict and logical with his approach to teaching. He does care deeply for his students and will protect them from harm. However, in regards to kids like Deku, Aizawa tends to let weak heroes go as he knows what villains can do to them and wants to make sure the best of the best make it through. That's where All Might steps in. His quirk allows him to pass his powers on to another person. He sees the makings of a true hero in Deku and decides to give him a chance. He trains Deku's entire body to prepare himself for what's in store. Deku proves he had what it took to be a real hero, so All Might gives him the power to be the very best. All Might can see true potential people tend to ignore, which is rubbing off of Aizawa as he decides to give Deku a chance. Both men are giving their all for their students in hopes that they will grow to be the very best. With how much these little heroes are growing both physically and mentally, it's clear to see the amazing job these two are doing for them.
Number 4. Hein Wittgenstein from The Royal Tutor. It's not easy being taken seriously when you're often mistaken to be a kid, even though you're a grown adult. But also being a royal tutor to 4 spoiled princes is definitely not easy. Hein is summoned to the palace as another potential tutor for the royal princes, who instantly turn him away. They swear they don't need a tutor and that he'll just run away like everyone else has. But Hein stands his ground and swears he will tutor them. One by one, he finds a way to get close to the princes while studying their behavior. Doing this allows him to customize his teaching skills to cater to each of their personalities and needs. Each brother comes forth a certain way, but he's able to dig deep down to help them learn and open themselves to other people. His influence helps our princes to learn and grow while forming a bond with the teacher they never knew they needed. With determination, patience, and understanding, Hein truly excels as a teacher a lot of people wish they could be.
Number 3. Professor Frankenstein from Soul Eater. Probably one of the craziest teachers in anime, Stein is mainly a man of science. He wants to learn and discover everything while dissecting it all to see what makes him tick. While also being one of the best meisters of his time, Stein was asked to teach Maka's class as requested by Shinigami-sama. Sure, his curious antics get the better of him, but he wants his students to be just as focused, attentive, and prepared as he is. He knows the students are strong and diligent, but still keeps them at their feet as he knows these hot-headed students still have a lot to learn. It doesn't necessarily make him unapproachable, as these students tend to come to him for advice and often comfort and support. He may not be the type to sugarcoat things, but that's what makes these kids appreciate him more. He's quirky, yet dependable. Professor Stein is an insane teacher we'd all love to have.
Number 2. The one and only Eikichi Onizuka from GTO. This former delinquent has a new goal in life, and that is to become the world's greatest teacher. And yeah, at first it's to meet cute high school girls. But he still has his priorities somewhat in order. Being a teacher wasn't necessarily the best option for him, given his past circumstances and his low IQ. But once he found a way to help students with their problems, he decides being a teacher really is the way to go. He's able to tame the rowdy students that have in the past bullied previous teachers, helped a young girl with her problems between her and her parents, and even convinced a student not to commit suicide. There's something about Onizuka that enables him to really reach out to the students. He isn't like all the other teachers trying to conform their students and teach them all as the system wants them to be taught. He'll actually find a way to help each student in trouble, even if his methods are unorthodox. Just saying, it's probably not a good idea to nearly drown your students who nearly blackmailed you earlier. But it all works out in Onizuka's world. Regardless, Onizuka is practically the Mary Poppins of the teaching world. His methods are strange and questionable, but it works for him and his students.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
Before we move forward, here are some honorable mentions. Best teacher in anime is... Who would have thought that this insane show, with one of the most bizarre stories ever told, could produce one of the best teachers ever made in anime? Okay, seriously, if you didn't see him in the honorable mentions, you know he has to be here. Koro-sensei from Assassination Classroom. So, where to begin with this one? Spoiler warnings for Assassination Classroom. Okay, great. Believe it or not, Koro-sensei was once a human and an assassin. He had an apprentice under his wing and taught him everything he knew. Then the ungrateful asshole betrays him and leaves him to be captured by the authorities, where, naturally, they decide to throw him in an undocumented research facility where he'd be experimented on. Of course! This is where he meets a young lab assistant by night and teacher by day, Aguri Yukimura. Through each meeting and experimentation, Koro-sensei and Aguri form a strong bond as he's able to learn compassion for the first time in his life. But once the heads of the lab learn of his fate and how his cells could pretty much blow up the entire world once he dies naturally, they do what they can to kill him before it's too late. And that's where Aguri steps in to try to protect him. Her final words to Koro-sensei was to teach Class 3E and become a great teacher she knows he can be. And that's exactly what he does. Okay, so he had to threaten world leaders to do it, but he finds a way to be a teacher for the students of Class 3E and is practically the best teacher they've ever had. The system the school uses has the students put in their places while doing everything they can to keep the worst students possible in the worst classroom. They would then be the examples other students aim not to be. These students are then convinced that they have no future as the system has already decided their fate, until Koro-sensei came into their lives. He was able to reach out to each of his students, teaching so many lessons that they can move forward with. But the most important lesson he could ever give them was hope. Hope for a future they can work for, whether life makes it easy for them or not. Never give up. Never let anyone tell you you're worthless. Fight for your future and always have hope. Even when the government steps in to take care of him before his deadline, and his old apprentice making a monstrous appearance to kill him, Koro-sensei fights to protect his students and gives them the opportunity to succeed. Because of his actions and tearful goodbye, each student now has a second chance at life, with multiple doors open for them. Even with life and the status norm turning their backs against these kids, Koro-sensei flipped the system to prove to these kids that you should never ever give up. Life can be so scary and very unfair, but that's no excuse. Be the very best you can be, despite the obstacles in your way. That is the best lesson any teacher can give to their students in a world full of trials and tribulations. For his extreme dedication to his students and the sacrifice he made to give them all a promising future, we deem the one and only Koro-sensei as the best teacher in anime.
Obviously, anime teachers are amazing and we wish they were real, but we shouldn't ignore the amazing teachers we have in our lives. For the ones who go above and beyond for you and your classmates, we have to give a big salute and thank you to all the wonderfully dedicated teachers out there.
When all of you return to school, if you haven't graduated yet, do what you can to be kind and courteous to your teachers and tell them how much you appreciate all that they do for you. You may not realize it now, but a lot of teachers give all of their time and energy to make sure you are able to mature to adulthood and to have a chance at a great future. From all of us here at Anime America, we like to say to all of you great teachers, both old and new, thank you. Hey there, if you like what we do on this channel, be sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. If you wish to support us financially, we do have a Patreon page with numerous rewards to fit your budget. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Anime America, and be sure to check out our other channel, Pop Spectrum. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned, Anime America.